What's good, everyone? Are you broke with no followers? Do you want to be famous but you don't actually have any marketable traits? Do you have absolute disdain for your fellow women? Well, that's okay, because instead of doing anything meaningful with your life, you could exploit an entire subculture, contribute to real-world harassment of goth women, and sell your soul by acting like a child for the pleasure of the worst men on the planet.
Hi!
I'm Neffy.
Nice to meet you, Neffy.
And my green flag is that I have a shallow vagina. So you'll always be big enough.
Okay.
Yay.
If you're alternative or have alternative friends, you probably know that men don't tend to treat alt women the best. And although alternative subcultures are more popular than ever, the harassment of them hasn't gone away. In fact, it's gotten worse.
I love goth mommies.
Sometimes it's something rather harmless but annoying, like labeling every subculture as goth when they're actually not, but usually it's much worse. A lot of men automatically assume that goth women are easy, dominant freaks in the sheets, and will treat her accordingly, because they think that being alternative is basically a reflection of these women's internal sexual desires, which is a stupid perspective to anyone who matters, and anybody who actually knows these women. But why do they think that? Why do they have this stereotype? And also, why do all their messages sound the same? Why do they all have the same talking points and desires? Well, what if I told you that there's an entire content creation industrial complex aimed at fetishizing goth women and profiting off the results? What if I told you that literally every single creepy formulaic thing that these creepy men say is the result of a profit-driven psyop led by a group of greedy, shameless creators who sold out to some of the worst men on the planet? Well, meet the Goth House and affiliates.
Goth.
We're goth!
Yay. We love Bauhaus and Sisters of Mercy.
And the politics and the system.
Yeah.
System.
Buzzword! 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 It's like, dude, they're literally playing a parody of goth women. Like, they're basically making fun of them, but like, this is their whole identity. Anyways, yeah, that's how they act in like their personal lives. Here's what most of their content looks like.
Okay, that's it.
You forgot my garlic nuts.
Oh, I can play with your garlic nuts.
That's disgusting.
Oh, what's disgusting is what I'm gonna do to you.
So funny. Surely she doesn't have 1,000 other posts with the same fucking punchline, right? Well, at least it got funnier over time. Okay, but at least the dudes who watch this don't think it's real, right? Like, they know it's a marketing tactic, they know it's just, like, a fantasy. Like, go check the comments of these posts. Half of them are just like, OMG, so cute, I need a goth girl like this. Like, this isn't real, it's a performance. It's the same as those book talk girlies with the biker boys. It's like, this isn't real. But they believe it is, and they will act and treat women accordingly. But before we get into the cringy depths of depravity surrounding this content, and the effects it has on real alt women, there are a few important things I'd like to address. For one, I am not shitting on these women for being sex workers. I don't care if you're goth. I don't care if you're a sex worker. I don't care if you're a goth sex worker, but I have issues with these people for a different reason. I don't hate their job, I hate how they do their job. They are essentially acting as one of the good ones for incels. Second of all, a lot of their defenders make the point that the real issue here is creepy men and these women are just making a buck off them. And I agree in that first part. 90% of this video is going to be about creepy men and how they interact with this content. My issue is that it's not just them. These men, the meme creators who perpetuate these goth stereotypes, and these women are all in an alliance meant to exploit alt women and fetishize them for profit. Literally none of these things could exist without the others. They're all in this really f***ed up circle meant to objectify alt women for profit. And I find it reprehensible. Because seriously, who would ever use women for their own gain? Mom, what do you mean the thumbnail isn't done? What do I not pay you for? Anyways, let's get it. Let's discuss the anatomy of a pick-me goth girl, how they came to be, and why they exist. I don't mean literal anatomy, I mean more so the stereotype that they're trying to put on and sell to their audience. The first thing we need to understand about this content is that content made by the Goth House is entirely meant for one purpose, and that is to create an image of goth women as being entirely subservient to the desires of men. Mediocre men, specifically, and this is used to develop a parasocial audience and sell OnlyFans subscriptions. Usually this is done through these skits, which is kind of a stretch because these things are so fucking unfunny.
Hey, do you want a croissant?
No. Croissant.
Oh, you want my croissant?
No.
Croissant.
I have never seen a less funny group of people in all my time on YouTube so far, but we can learn something from this. To start, all these skits they make are centered around portraying goth women as these quirky freaks that are obsessed with the cameraman. Like, it's basically just like an exaggerated Snapchat caption of just like, OMG, I can't believe goth girls are like this. And this is laid over a video of them acting just completely freaked out. Usually with this weird, like, childlike, immature, quirky, weird girl, like, stereotype accent. It's like, it's the one joke they know. They don't really have anything else.
What?
You probably think that I'm like Amy because I'm a girl and have all the parts and stuff, but you would be wrong. I am like Shadow because of my dark and twisted mind.
Ew, you kind of stink.
That would be because you are smelling my alpha pheromones. You're probably really highly attracted to me right now. Probably.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass off.
And this is the core of the male pandering nature of this content. While being an obsessed freak is totally cool and all, they want their audience to think that this is how alt women act. And the reason they do this is, again, get views and sell OnlyFans subscriptions to dudes who want to see their freaky goth dummy mommy fantasy come into real life. And so, like, yeah, a well-adjusted person watches that and doesn't take that literally, but the audience of these girls do. Again, check the comments. Oh, where were these women when I was in school? And I'll tell ya, they were there, they just didn't like you, because they knew you were gonna grow up to be an old creep who's wasting his life in thirst trap comment sections. And oh shit. And one of the things I've noticed while editing, and one of the most insidious parts of their content, is that they're so successful because they're some of the only alt women willing to degrade themselves like this. So as I'm sure you know, alternative subcultures tend to center around left-wing politics more. So a lot of people aren't willing to be grifters like this and basically just like act as a dude's fantasy for money. Most alt women find that pretty degrading, so they don't do it. But they know this, and they filled this role. They specifically chose to do this because they know that alt women are averse to this, and that dudes are looking for like an outlet to this. Like, that is what's so like disgusting to me about their mandering, if you will. Who's Jerry and why is he mandering? They know what they're doing. They read their comments. Don't ever let a creator tell you they don't know what their commenters think. They at least have a summary of it, okay? Like, there's no plausible deniability for their opportunism. They know who their audience is and that they want to objectify alt women. And they fill this role. And in fact, they know their audience so well that they hate them. They hate them probably more than I do. Here's Queen Neffy talking about a lot of the gooners who just spam the same jokes over and over in her chat.
Life, you dumb fucking loser. Holy shit. You are so annoying. Genuinely, I want you to know this. I hate you. I hate you to the core of who you are as a human being, and I guarantee you others do too.
Hi.
I'm Neffy.
Nice to meet you, Neffy.
And my green flag is that.
Even though they make incel fantasy videos, I'm still not even saying they deserve to be harassed by incels. That would be evil. My point in showing that clip is to show you that, like, I feel like if they saw this video and tried to defend themselves, one of their points would be that they don't control their audience. My point is that they do. They know who watches them because they've had to address it. Or at least Neffy has on stream. There is no, oh, I didn't know incels watched me. I didn't know these losers watched me. I didn't know they know they're pandering to them. They know the type of guy who watches it, but they still make these skits for a fucking paycheck. I need you to understand that before we go more into their, like, mandering nature of this content. Let's continue. There's a bunch of lonely, misogynistic men who want their goth fantasies to be true. So, the pick-me LARPers came in. They filled that niche for money, basically. Their entire existence online is centered around pandering to these guys. And as a result, they don't actually have really any, like, autonomy or traits of their own. I couldn't tell you anything about any one of these creators other than this one likes trains. But I can sure tell you who they're appealing to by how they model their behavior and content. They cast as wide of a net as they possibly can. Virtually every interest these men could have is represented in these videos in some way. Again, gotta get the subs. A lot of the people who fetishize alternative women tend to do it because they believe that they're dominant in bed. So these girls make videos of them just like humiliating the cameraman or some random dude who has nothing better to do than act in these unfunny ass skits. A lot of their viewers like the idea of a woman that's completely submissive to them and just constantly wants to be a freak. So these creators act accordingly to fill this fantasy, often in a very childlike and immature manner. A lot of their viewers struggle with loneliness, because they tend to be crusty chuds who stay inside all day, frat squids, old dudes who never learned how to talk to women, or conservatives. So again, the pick-me girls make videos where goth women are obsessed with these types of dudes. It's like there's an unremarkable cameraman, and they are all just head over heels for him. It's a self-insert fantasy, really. It's literally like one of those like harem anime protagonists where he doesn't actually have any traits, that way you never make the viewer who wants to self-insert feel insecure. Like, again, it's like giving these dudes a fantasy. It's like, okay, look, in this life, I'm a loser who gets no play. However, in a different life, or, you know, with a different type of woman, I'd actually be some Chad who gets as much action as I want. And again, that's a fantasy that these pick-me women are selling as, like, the actual, like, goth behavior. And ultimately, why a lot of these dudes think they can get away with, like, shooting way out of their league. Like, part of the internet, and specifically these internet's goth fetish, is that, like, they have this idea that goth women are obsessed with, like, normal or, like, mediocre men. And while that can be true, of course, just because, like, you know, people are people, some people have just good personalities, not these viewers. A lot of dudes will watch this sort of content and see these sort of memes and think it's actually true, and then proceed to go, like, really disrespectfully and objectifyingly hit on actual goth women, because, like, they think it's true. And while many alternative creators go to great lengths to, like, disprove that idea, these men will just ignore them, and instead flock to and support creators that do portray that idea, people like the Goth House. And even further beyond their content itself, their outfits of choice are really telling to me, too. I wouldn't be shitting on this look in a vacuum, but, like, it's so, like, bland on purpose. But, like, combined with everything else, I think it's really, like, you know, telling that they have the most simple makeup, hairstyles, and clothes compared to, like, you know, actual goth women. A lot of alternative fashion choices aren't actually attractive to men, but they're not supposed to be. It's just a thing of self-expression. Problem is that the entire point of the Goth House is to be attracted to men, so they're not going to do any other sort of, like, goth fashion or anything more than just, like, black eyeliner and lipstick, you know? They're not gonna do any crazy goth hair, they're just gonna do this simple because their entire purpose is to appeal to the most men as possible. There is no self-expression here, it's just market expression. Because anything else is going to scare off a portion of their audience. Because, like, their audience is the type of dude to be like, babe, do you think you could lose the piercings? You're embarrassing me at the frat house right now. Basically, what I'm trying to illustrate in this section is that, like, every single aspect, down to the fucking atom about these women and their content, is to pander to men. Incel men who fetishize goth women, specifically. Like, they're trying to play into the freaky goth GF stereotype that spawned on dank memes in, like, 2018. And literally every stylistic choice they make is to play into that degrading-ass stereotype. That either treats men as these, like, beautiful gods worthy of adoration, or more accurately, like, there's, like, a sort of, like, self-referential acknowledgement that the cameraman is a fucking lame loser. In these, like, videos in, like, the Goth House cinematic universe, these women are just obsessed with them regardless. That's, like, the whole fantasy they're trying to portray. It's like, look, you are mediocre, but find you a goth girl and watch my content, you know? But that's actually the more tame stuff. The bigger issue to me is their sexualization of both immaturity and service workers. A lot of their skits tend to just be, like, them acting like kids or something.
I see you around the skate park. I thought maybe you need to learn some tricks from Master.
What?
I could teach you tricks you never even heard of, like the kiss flip. You ever do that before?
What are you talking about?
I could show you how to do it.
They'll put on these bizarre infantilized personas that's, like, really uncomfortable for most people to watch, but, like, they know their audience is attracted to this, so they act like it, despite this being a really fucking gross thing to fetishize. Like, I can hardly find a video of them acting like grown women, unless it's just, like, a domination video. And you might think that this weird childlike persona they put on is only confined to their skits, but, like, Queen Neffy was in a dating video the other day, and put on this persona the entire fucking time.
Am I red flag? Yay!
The voice is tripping me out, man.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't worry.
I don't know why she thought this would work or would appeal to anybody at all. She's been in her little incel comment section echo chamber for so long that she thinks that this will fly with actual people. Like, no, dude. But beyond the, like, really uncomfortable childlike personas they put on, there's another persona they put on that I find really problematic, and that's their fetishization of service workers. A lot of these clips consists of these pick-me goth women, you know, like, in, like, McDonald's outfits or, like, Dunkin' Donuts outfits, acting super freaky with the food or with the customer. I think a lot of the dudes who watch this kind of get off to the idea that they can, like, you know, manipulate or control, like, you know, a service worker, and so they're kind of, like, playing into that, like, real power dynamic there, you know what I mean? And I found that really gross to do. It's like you're making content for the type of dude who hits on, like, the McDonald's cashier. Like, it's really uncomfortable to watch videos that are just, like, eroticizing people that are, like, lower on the totem pole, so to speak. But again, every single thing in these videos is meant to pander to some men somewhere, right? They're acting like a kid, it's meant to pander to predators. They're acting like minimum wage workers, it is meant to pander to minimum wage predators. You know what I mean? They're acting dominant, it's to pander to men who think goth women are inherently dominant and want to be dominated. They're acting submissive, they're probably pandering to misogynists. Not that those last two are inherently wrong to be attracted to, my point more so is that like, they're putting on this stereotype that goth women are always acting like this constantly for these mediocre men. Unyielding submissiveness in every aspect of their lives, or dominance, you know? It's like, you're like flattening and stereotyping goth women down to like one trait that revolves around men, and that's what I find really gross. I'm not saying you can't be a freak, alright? That's kind of the entire point of these videos, and that kind of leads me to the next point I want to make. That these videos completely lack entertainment value, and that's by design. It's not just that these creators aren't funny, it's that they don't have to be, and they never will be. All four of the Goth House members and any of their wannabe clones do not have a funny bone in their body. But their audience is basically Pavlov themselves into laughing, because they're trying to crack, and these women embody the qualities they're attracted to. So they just have to make themselves laugh, or else they wouldn't be able to tolerate the content and keep watching epic goth mommies.
Damn, this place is nice. And you have a bed? Oh my god, I am never leaving this place. This is awesome. Look, look. I'm a burrito.
Do you guys get it? It's cause she wrapped herself up and burritos are wrapped up. Dude, I would make fun of a 10-year-old for making this joke. This is bottom of the barrel shit. Like, you should have a better developed sense of humor by the time you're an adult woman, or an adult man in the comment sections, but they've all Pavlov themselves into finding this funny, because if they admitted it was nauseatingly cringe, they wouldn't be able to watch these videos to fulfill their cute goth girl fantasies. I'm a burrito got me. You are a grown man. No, it didn't. I get secondhand embarrassment watching these people act like this is funny shit. But then again, like, her commenters are even more unfunny. Like, this video is taking so long to make because of the absolute burger energy radiating from every crevice of this internet ecosystem. Be aware of the danger. Once she goes burrito, you'll not be able to resist. What do you bring to the world? None of these skits are funny because the entire thing they're focused on is just pandering to men, and making themselves seem attractive to the most men as possible. All that really matters is camera angles and putting on a persona they like. Absolutely nothing humorous or entertaining has to be done. But while all of that is extremely lame and embarrassing, I do have one more personal gripe with these videos that I haven't actually seen anyone mention, and it's that their fucking cameraman is the unfunniest man on earth, and I'm not even exaggerating, it is pathetic. I don't know if all four of these use the same guy, but specifically Queen Neffy's cameraman is a generational lack of talent.
What? No, I'm falling.
Stop doing that. Seriously, I'm hungry. I want to go eat.
I got something you can eat.
No, I do not do that. That's gross.
That's gross. Why would you say that? Like, that's how he acts in every video, which is really annoying to me because it's the same joke every time. It's always Queen Neffy being like, what if something non-sexual was sexual? And he always acts with this super badly acted fake exasperation and never actually adds anything funny on top of it. But again, he's not funny because he doesn't have to be, and he really shouldn't be. Again, the males in these videos are meant to be like the generic self-insert isekai protagonists, right? Like, they're meant to be these generic losers, so you don't make the audience insecure about not being like these guys. He's an unremarkable faceless loser because the audience of these videos are unremarkable losers. And either way, it's not like these viewers have any standards for comedy. It is one of the unfunniest comment sections I've ever seen in my fucking life, and I don't mean that lightly. It is horrendous. So the first major type of comment they get is this thing. Bro, give me the controller, you're not even playing the game. And I'll admit, that comment was like kind of funny the very first time I saw it. First time. It is in the fucking thousands in every single video they post. And I just have to ask, what goes through your head, okay? You watch a lot of this content and you see this comment fucking hundreds of times every time you check the comment section. Why do you type it again? Why do you type it again, you lemming? It's the same people as those dudes in like the animation community who are just like, oof, the random rotoscoping is so funny. Like, yeah, we know what it is. You don't have to repeat it for the 10,000th time. Oh my god. Okay, the second type of comment is miscellaneous unks writing like literal fanfic in here. You had Neffy, Bella, and Pinky over. Lucky man. They are very funny. The boob crew. At least if you drown and need mouth to mouth, they would be your salvation unless they're the ones who drowned you. Dude, this guy has a wife. This guy has a wife. What are we doing, bro? Like, it's so much more common than you think. Like, I've literally seen people complain about their wives in this comment section and compare them to, like, Neffy and shit. It's so bad, bro. Anyways, yeah, here's the last type of comment. It's basically just dudes lusting over them, which is like to be expected. And then there was this one earlier though, and chili. What is that? And chili dog? What do we? Okay, I don't know. But I don't know, in a way, I feel some sort of catharsis knowing that, like, out of every creator, the ones who deserve this fanbase the most are the Goth House women, to be real. It's like, hey, that's what you wanted. You aren't entertaining, but you wanted fame? Okay, you get the incels. The monkey's paw curls, I guess, you know, you did get what you want. And something else I think is interesting is that, like, again, none of them have a creative bone in their body, and so all they could do is be parasitic on existing content. For example, after Obsession came out, a lot of the Goth House people made parodies of it.
What the? No, no! You can't cook the cat. We talked about this.
But you love the cat.
Of course I love the cat. You can't cook it.
You wanna...
I mean, okay.
And this video shows you why they're grifters. They are quite literally talented at deleting every bit of comedy or feeling that anything else has. That scene in the movie was pretty good, but they weren't even capable of recreating it. They made it fucking worse. Like, the most goth thing about them is that they are vampires. They are content vampires, to be specific. They take things with actual soul and just completely delete all of it. The entire joke is that they're hot and they're referencing something popular. There's nothing more to it than that, because they are not capable of that, and that's why they're grifters. And for me, one of the videos they made that actually made me laugh is when they were parodying their haters. So a lot of goth women started talking about how they wouldn't do simple makeup looks because then they look like the Goth House. So some of the actual Goth House creators did their own videos of that, but the joke is that it's actually them. That was funny, but I think it's so telling that the only time they've ever made me laugh is when they're just copying what their haters said. You know what I mean? It's like, the only time you were entertaining is when you weren't yourself. Like, they're basically just a living generative AI that takes anything with actual soul and turns it into sexualized slop for the worst dudes in the planet. Maybe you think I'm going too hard on the Goth House women specifically. After all, the main criticism in this video is about creepy men. And a lot of people argue that the fault lies exclusively with these creepy men, but I really think that's an unnecessary flattening of the issue. So the thing you need to understand is that, like, the internet's goth fetish arose out of meme culture in about, like, 2018 when it started to become popularized among, like, Reddit meme culture. It was basically people who just started to, like, make up kind of, like, fictional headcanons about goth women and then post about it to other men. And so it was kind of just this little incel bubble that, like, gradually grew a fetish for goth women based on their own ideas, right? And that bubble eventually grew as alternative culture kind of got more and more popular and less stigmatized among the internet. And naturally with that, it led to a lot of dudes who started getting attracted to it. Now, nothing wrong with being attracted to these subcultures. The problem is that, again, they have all these pre-existing ideas that they want to project onto real goth women. But on its own, this sphere has no legitimacy. And that's really where I find the real problem with these goth LARPers, is that on its own, these people have no, like, true example to point to about, like, who fits their ideas. So a lot of people aren't willing to be grifters like this and basically just, like, act as a dude's fantasy for money. And that's where they come in. That's where the Goth House comes in. They act as, like, the good ones, so to speak. So these dudes have all these ideas surrounding these women, and the good ones come in to be, like, the people they can point to as to where they get their ideas from and what gives their objectification legitimacy. It's like, okay, so this girl on a dating app didn't reply to my message asking to step on her. However, the Goth House says they like to be objectified, so clearly I'm right. And obviously, that is mostly men's fault, right? Like, that is no question. That's them being dipshits. But if no one existed to fill that niche that gave their ideas legitimacy, it'd be much easier to disprove, and I really dislike the fact that there's a lot of people literally playing as one of the good ones for these guys. If you know any alt women or check any of these comment sections discussing their objectification, you will see thousands upon thousands of comments talking about how a lot of these guys have all the same ideas, lines, kinks, interests, and things that they project onto these women. Why do they all have the same lines? Because they're all in the same internet ecosystem. Here's a video of an alt girl running into someone who only knows about alt women from these videos, like Queen Neffy.
Dog. A hot dog?
Yes.
Okay. I've been watching a lot of girls on TikTok lately.
Yeah, it's
pretty cool.
it's a thing.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own idea of it.
Obviously nothing happened in this video, but my point is that, like, this is not just an online phenomenon. There are, again, miscellaneous unks out there whose only knowledge of alt girls is that they supposedly act like Queen Neffy, Pinkchyu, and them. I'm terrified, and I'm not even an alt girl. They mistreat goth women because they all get their ideas from the same incel ecosystems. And again, these people step in to then give them legitimacy by being the subject of these fantasies that these dudes can then point to and be like, yeah, this is real. And again, that's them being stupid. But it happens, and they know it's gonna happen, yet they make this content anyway, and I find that deplorable. Like, their grifting literally works because these dudes want to objectify alt women, and want to find alt women who are okay with that objectification. They're filling that role at the expense of other women. Any creator who criticizes these women gets flooded with DMs of these dudes being like, oh, you're just mad they're hotter than you, or this is actually how a real goth acts, they like being sexualized. Look at all the comments I keep putting up in this fucking video. So the real problem I have, yes, it is mostly weird men, but you should not be collaborating with them and literally giving them ideas, feeding their fantasies, and acting as a fucking quote-unquote good example of what a goth woman is. But at the same time, despite all the that I absolutely hate, I feel like I can't help but have the last laugh because a lot of this shit seems miserable, alright? All that money do not unlame you. Okay, I need you to imagine this real quick. So, you have an innate desire to become internet famous because a 9-to-5 is unthinkable. I can safely say that because they all became grifters. If a 9-to-5 was thinkable, they would have just done that. But they clearly have to be internet famous, alright? So, they've all tried various things beforehand. A lot of them were streamers or VTubers, none of that really went anywhere though. Because again, as we've established, they're fundamentally not entertaining people. They are not funny, they are parasitic in other content, and they cannot make anything fun. Queen Neffy has very bad long-form views, because again, she's not funny. So what does that leave you with? That leaves you with grifting. And so again, they sold out, started doing this stupid goth skit shit, and they blew up like that. However, it's so funny to me because it's like, okay, it's like they want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to be internet famous grifters, but they also are clearly bothered by the fact that all their viewers are just fucking losers, can't work a normal job, are not entertaining, so they grift, but they're not happy with the outcome, so they have to keep fighting this uphill battle of having to deal with these fucking losers in their comment section that were like a necessity to become internet famous because they couldn't do anything else. I don't know, I find that really entertaining to me, especially, like, I'm a big fan of stories with some good fate themes in there, you know? It's like, it seriously feels like watching fucking Sisyphus right now. It's like Sisyphus's fate is to keep pushing that fucking boulder up. That's how I feel watching Queen Neffy's long-form videos, dude. It's like you're trying to escape this grifter fate you've created for yourself. You sold out, people don't like you for that, and there is no escaping that, you know? You either deal with the incels or you get a job. But she's clear, like, she's trying to have her cake and eat it too, and I think that's so fucking funny, like, narratively. And look, I'm not trying to gloat too hard about anyone else being stuck with a shitty audience. I don't think anyone deserves their lame audience. I don't think they deserve to be harassed by their lame audience either. It feels cathartic to me that there is some consequences to this insane level of soulless grifting. It's like, you are not gonna escape the consequences of that. It's like, look, you bit the bullet and became a grifter and became hated by literally everyone that matters on the internet. You made your bed, now lie in it. There's no, like, getting away from this, like, sort of industry blacklist you put on your name, if that makes sense. There's no normal internet career that can come out of this because of what you did. And so sure, you have money and followers, but you are stuck with the lamest fanbase imaginable, who just spam the same jokes over and over, and just like, you know for a fact the regulars are shitty people. You don't even get to hang out with like other like, you know, cool internet creators. You're stuck with the absolute dregs of the entertainment industry. Let's look at that actually. The only people who really fuck with like the goth house now are really lame, unfunny members of the Zinternet, so to speak, and all the money grubbing people there, and a lot of the other like rejects from like cool internet culture, if that makes sense. For example, she was on a show the other day with Kyle from the Nelk Boys and Drake. So a washed up file, and the guys who interviewed Netanyahu.
Burger King kind of sucks.
Yeah.
No, you're wrong.
The BK Lounge can hit.
I disagree completely.
You like Burger King over McDonald's?
That's your worst take, I think.
Absolutely.
It's like, you sold out, you wanted to be famous, and now the only people who fuck with you are like some of the worst washed up dudes I can think of. I know Drake technically isn't washed up, but I don't know anyone cool who likes Drake anymore, you know? And to me, this feels like desperation on his part to actually get any positive will. But yeah, overall, again, my point here is that, like, it's just so funny to me. Like, I can't help but, like, laugh my ass off when I think about, like, this, how shitty of a situation they set up. It both gives me schadenfreude and is very, like, narratively satisfying. Again, I feel like if you wrote a book about this, it'd be a pretty, like, solid plot, you know what I mean? Good old Greek tragedy. Anyways, yeah, that's basically all I got. Later.